Welcome back to the Coastal Zone, and we are back in Florida as we get into December on the road to Christmas Cage Chaos, and we're going straight into our first Florida show. And the opening bout sees Catherine Goodlooks get a victory in a four-way match, also including Ultimate Phoenix Jr., Teddy Powell, and Jonathan Frost. So, Goodlooks gets the good victory. She was well head and shoulders above everyone else. 42 rating for this one. Nice way to start the show. Should get us off to a hot start. We move on into a tag team contest. Onslaught and Frankie Perez, an unlikely pairing, but they get the victory over a different Perez, Paul Perez, no relation, and Victor Kim. Again, Victor Kim, weak link, but he's a new guy, so you kind of to be expected. Onslaught kept up well with Frankie Perez, though, in their new random teaming. 45 rating. Maybe they'll go forward. Who knows, basically. By the way, in front of 108 people in Orlando, Florida for the Florida Zone Championship Wrestling. And I've not mentioned it, but we're going to crown a new Florida Zone champion tonight as well, the end of the tournament. But before we get into the tag team of the territory, the Young and Wasted, who we are probably going to have to start integrating properly into the rest of the tag division, because they've got another victory here against veteran team of Air Attack Weasel and Ricky Turner. The go home from Brett Kyle in just over 10 minutes got a 60 rating for that one. This tag team looking good. Obviously, a week ago in Florida, they were in the main event against Frankie Boy Fernandez and his opponent for tonight's main event, Coco Malloy, but they were not in a winning outing last time around, but they have won today in this one. Then we go into our disappointing worst match of the night for the Florida Zone Championship. Excellent. This is what happens when an injury happens and we decide to push Altitude for some bizarre reason. But Altitude gets the victory over Stevie Grayson, who did not carry him to a good match. They tried to steal the show. They failed miserably. But Altitude wins the Florida Zone Championship, and thankfully we haven't made it the main event, because that would have been an absolute disaster. But 39, still good enough for Florida, but it's being broadcast on WrestleWorld, so that's not good enough for there. And we decided to put on a main event worthy of carrying the show. A 69 rating for another defense, number 15 of Frankie Boy Fernandez and his Coastal Zone Championship this time around. Coco Malloy, who did a good outing in their tag team contest last time around. She is unfortunately not successful in this one, but Frankie Boy Fernandez picks up another victory, carries the rest of the show, and that gives us a 63 rating, which is good overall. 18 regions improving, and Coco Malloy was used far too much because she's not a main eventer, but she got a main event anyway. Financial review made a little bit of a loss, but we've got loads of money in the bank, so that's fine. Popularity up, and up some more everywhere around the nation. So there we go. That's the end of week 1 in Florida. As before, in last week's episode, we'll go through the Florida shows. So we've got the 9th, the 16th, and then the 23rd will be when Christmas Cage Chaos is. So we won't do that one. We'll skip that week. Well, we won't skip it as in it'll happen. We'll skip it as in it won't happen. So we'll get there to Christmas Cage Chaos. In terms of they were at 5-star wrestling this week. 70,000 watched it on WrestleWorld, which is great. Only 100 in attendance, but never mind. So let's quickly look at the schedule here. So we've got another 2 weeks, the 9th and the 16th for Florida Zone, and then Christmas Cage Chaos, which will be the main event end of the video, and then we'll come back into next year for the next Florida show, and we run towards Revolution in January. We're going to have a bit of a hiatus after the end of this episode, though, as we go forward into the next year and get our plans for 2023 nailed down. Right, we'll jump forward a week, do the next Florida show, see how we can run with Altitude as champion, which I'm going to regret doing. But in fact, before we do that, let's have a quick look at our champions. Here we go. Frankie Boy Fernandez, main champion, Coastal Zone champion. Tandem offense team of Hugh Ask and Zell Quinn, the Coastal Zone tag champs. Extreme champion is still American Flash. Florida Zone champion is now Altitude. Not sure on that one. And then the Reach for the Sky contract, Kira Lee holds with the Riptide Rumble. Obviously was won by Carlos Barrera back in April, but that will happen again in the next April. So there we go. New champion. We'll see in a second for the next Florida Zone Championship Wrestling. Back at it again in Florida, and our opening contest here in Jacksonville. sees Frankie Perez win a 5-way against everyone else who wasn't on the rest of the card. It's not on the pre-show, it's just part of the show. The show's not long enough for a pre-show. There's not enough people on the East Coast brand for a pre-show, at the moment at least. But Frankie Perez, head and shoulders above everyone else, getting a comfortable victory, 42. Better than our title match last week, which apparently is the bar we need to beat. Maybe Altitude, as Florida's own champion, is not a good one, but we shall see. Frankie Perez picks up the victory in that opener, though. Then we get Onslaught picking up a nice victory over Air Attack Weasel. He was off his game. Weasel's nice and old, so we get a 41 rating for this one. We're going to have to try and get people pushed into a better position on this brand because that kind of rating ain't great. But we do have a decent match between Coco Malloy and Catherine Goodlooks, with Goodlooks getting the victory here. We went all out to try and steal the show. This one gives Goodlooks a title shot against Altitude, a 53 rating for this one. Coco Malloy doing the slightly better in-ring performance. And then our main event, we're trying something different. We're basically trying to get Frankie Boy Fernandez to drag everyone else up in the main event. There's a lot of people in here, so we'll see how we get on. And it only gets a 59, so not fantastic. Perhaps Frankie's worst match of the year, but we can't really blame him. He is head and shoulders above everyone else. Once again, the young and the wasted put in a good performance. Oh, by the way, Frankie won this one by pinning Ultimate Phoenix Jr., but you can kind of expect that if you look at the cast of characters on show. Young and wasted put in a good performance. Altitude, he's part of the winning team by default. The Phoenixers, again, and Stevie Grayson and Teddy Powell on the opposite side of the ledger. Anyone put in a good performance apart from Frankie and the tag team we were expecting to? No, that's kind of what... That's where we are, I guess. This show, an experiment without Ernest Youngman, is going to be quite difficult. But hopefully that was enough to get the show. We've lost popularity. We've lost popularity in the Southwest. I can tell you that now without even looking. Maybe we take it off WrestleWorld now going forward. When we get into the new year, we'll take it off WrestleWorld. I think that is... In fact, do we just can it? Do we can it? This is a decision we need to make. Financial report, lost $6,000, don't really care. I've skipped the popularity recap. I meant to click on it, but I've skipped it. Hopefully it's not dropped us down to 55, because we were on 56 in the Southwest. We'll check that. That's not a good show. The trick here is to have Frankie Boy Fernandez in the main event against someone in a singles match, not in a 8-man tag. Only 60,000. Well, that's 10,000 less than last week. Let's quickly look at popularity. Still 56. It's gone down a little bit, but it's still 56. Everywhere else is okay. Southeast is up to 25. Do we track the progress? How's that going since we started? It's 20. Okay, it's going up a little bit. Everywhere else is going up as well, though. Do we have a comparable control region? Potentially not. The Midwest. That's up as well a lot. Maybe doing this touring show isn't really helpful for Florida. We've done it now. We've crowned a champion, though, so I'm kind of locked in for a few months. A lot of the people we brought in for the brand aren't great. Maybe a rethink. I think definitely having Frankie Boy Fernandez in the main event against someone. Do we just make him Florida champion? Potentially. We've got one more week of Florida before we get to the main course, which is what you're all here for, the Christmas Cage Chaos, which has got Frankie defending his title against Carlos Barrera in a cage match. There's also going to be a cage match for the Extreme title. The Tag Team Classic continues, right. We'll be back for Florida again in a second, and then we'll go to Christmas in California. The final stop on our Florida swing before Christmas sees us in Tampa, Florida, in front of 110 people, so it's consistent across the state. Our opening contest sees the Phoenix. They're not brothers, they're father and son, aren't they? Or uncle and son. Anyway, Ultimate Phoenix and Ultimate Phoenix Jr., along with Onslaught, getting the victory in a 6-man tag. Victor Kim, Jonathan Frost, Paul Perez on the losing side of things. Onslaught putting in the performance of the match. 39 rating, though. A little bit grim. Next up, Coco Malloy getting a very good victory over two veterans, Frankie Perez and Air Attack Weasel. They tried to steal the show and did well, actually. 55 rating. Coco Malloy getting a good, solid victory here. Air Attack Weasel a little bit beyond the performance of everyone else, but 55 really good. Next up, tag team contest, a 60 rated again. Young and Wasted, definitely the highlight of this little experiment. They got a victory over Teddy Powell and Ricky Turner. Taylor Norton getting the win this time around. Again, good, strong performances from these two. 60 rating for the match. Then we go into a title match, and I decided, Altitude, you can get stuffed. He got into a fight with a fan backstage before the show outside in the parking lot, and he's been grumpy and basically a bit naff in the ring. He's off his game, and he's been pinned. He's lost his title straight away. Catherine Goodlooks, just because she's got the shot. I mean, there you go, new champion. Screw you, Altitude. I'm not pushing you anymore. You have ruined every chance you've been given, and you're not that good. So 43 rating is crap, but we've got a new champ to try again with. Coco Malloy, I'm trying to build her up. Obviously, the Young and Wasted are built. Oh, that's not a great match either. Young and Wasted are obviously really good as well. But a 56 rating for Frankie. Frankie couldn't even get a good match out of Stevie Grayson. Oh, defense number 16 in the main event. That's not going to be good for our overall show rating either, is it? That's going to be a loss of popularity. We've only gained popularity. This is a disappointing experiment. I might just can the whole thing. I might, We'll refresh over Christmas because we're cancelling next week's show, obviously, because of the Christmas Cage class. No, that's not good. Financial report, again, lost a bit of money. Popularity recap. Ooh. Still 56, but not great. We didn't even gain popularity in the Southeast. That's where we are. That's the point of doing these shows. I think we might stop. I think we've done 6 weeks of Florida shows. Not good. It's not good. I think we might return to our previously scheduled not doing that kind of thing. Do we just get rid of the Florida Zone Championship after creating it? Possibly. It might just become an undercard. No, we've got an undercard title. Okay, I'm not sure what we're going to do, but obviously there's no Florida show now until our main show is going to be Christmas Cage Chaos. That's what we're here for. These have just been the appetizer. I think the Florida experiment might be done. It's not doing what I was hoping it to do. I tried it. It's not working. It's not working. Not even Frankie can get good matches out of some of the people. I'm tempted to just bin it off. I think we might just have to bin it off. This is not happening next week. Do we just... I think we do. Let's make it dormant. How do we make it dormant? Active, no. Dormant, yes. Save. Done. We're done. We're not going back to Florida again. I've made the decision. That's... we'll go into the brands as well and just end the brand split. End the brand split. We're not doing the brands anymore. Title, Florida Zone Championship. We'll find a way to merge it, to unify it with either the Extreme title or the Coastal Zone. Probably the Extreme title, honestly, or the Coastal Zone title. We'll do that. We'll probably sack a load of people because we don't need as many. We've got 50 people on the roster now. We don't need that many, and quite a lot of the people we brought in for Florida aren't that good. Right, we'll be back for Christmas. I've just made a big decision there on a whim. We're cancelling Florida. That's Florida cancelled. We're staying in California and on the West Coast from now on. Right, we'll be back in a second for Christmas Cage Chaos. We've got some cage mashers, obviously, for our 2 main singles titles. See you there. Ho, 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 it's Christmas Cage Chaos time, and we're back in California, and we're never going to Florida ever again. It's Sacramento, 7,837 in attendance, and we've got some great matches on deck tonight. Our pre-show, though, sees Masked Cougar leading a team to victory. He's partnered with California Love Machine, Frankie Perez, and Snapdragon in a bit of an all-star contest, and they've defeated Ultimate Phoenix, the disgraced Altitude, Air Attack Weasel, and Teddy Powell. Some of these men were brought in for the East Coast, so maybe they won't last very much longer. But we shall see. Anyway, Cougar won with a Cougar Pounce on Teddy Powell. 56 rating. Nice to be back in the decent ratings, particularly even on the pre-show. Altitude off his game again. Big shock. Might get rid of him at this point. He's really starting to grate on me. Next up, Young and Wasted, who were the best part of our East Coast experiment, mainly because Ernest Youngman got injured really early on. They are now going to be getting themselves integrated into the tag division if the tag division wasn't in a massive state of, well, all teams are in this tag team classic. But Young and Wasted get a victory on the pre-show against Killian Catsby and Heartbreaker. Catsby the weak link. Young and Wasted looking really good. Again, 60s for their in-ring performance, 53 for the match rating. Heartbreaker, bit of a letdown in this one as well. Finally, into the main card and part of the Tag Team Classic. As we mentioned, we've got the opening contest where the Beach Boys get a victory over the Apex Twins. We will check out the standings. I'm not sure what I'm doing here, but we'll check out the standings of the Tag Team Classic at the end of the show. This one gets a 51 rating, and the crowd is hot and rising. Off to a strong start for the show. Ooh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Wow. Snapdragon is annoyed about something. So there's a pre-show incident where he was getting into a fight, and I can't remember who with. But basically, he is very unprofessional, phoned in his performance, and not trying at all. Brilliant. That's really tanked this rating. And they got the victory as well. Snapdragon Jr. is going to get a bit of punishment for this. We're going to start jobbing him. I think he's been pushed really well, and I liked him. But he's not got a good attitude. Clearly, 43 rating. I'm going to apologise to the Gangster Nation for that one. We brought back up a level because the next one, the Wildcats the Wildcats were defeated by the Inner City Express. Jay Becker getting the victory after a rocket launcher. A 60 rating for this one. Back where we belong. And speaking of, in a non-tournament match, the California Dreams teamed with Coco Malloy to defeat Viento Negro, Air Raid Siren, and Luis Montero Jr. Kira Lee getting the victory, obviously. A 60 rating for this one. Potential. We'll cover what's going to happen with these three later on because there's developments. Tandem Offense then defended their titles as part of the tournament against Thunderstruck. Huda Ask pinning Elia de Grazia with a skull and crossbones. They went out to try and steal the show, and so far got the show's highest rating of a 62. That's good. Defense number 4 of the tag titles. Obviously, every match they have during the Tag Team Classic will be for the Coastal Zone tag team titles, so that's good. Too short, though, for the level of participants in this one. Then we get our first angle of the night, and Frankie Boy Fernandez is talking with Max Smith backstage. He's gone to war with Carlos Barrera for much of 2022. Tonight, inside a steel cage, he wants closure, and he wants everyone to know who is the best, and the best will be the Coastal Zone champion to end the year. 54 rating for the angle. Nicely done there, Frankie. No issues. It was obviously scripted and pre-recorded. But don't worry about that. Then as we talked about after our little Florida interlude, we're going to merge the Florida Zone Championship. It's a failed experiment. But American Flash and Catherine Goodlooks went battling for both titles. American Flash won the Florida Zone Championship, and he made defense number 9 of the Coastal Zone Extreme title. This one was inside a steel cage because it's part of our 2 main events. Or is it 3? Well, we shall see. But a 65 rating for this one. Catherine Goodlooks definitely bringing the goods after coming over to join our East Coast experiment. But she does the job here, sends the title over to the West Coast, and we're going to retire the Florida Zone title in a second. But before we get to that, after the victory, Kira Lee rushes down to the ring and enters the cage. She hands over the Reach for the Sky contract, and this Extreme title match is going right now. 51 rating, obviously the contract is vacated, but the title match goes on inside a steel cage, and we have a new... Oh no! They don't have chemistry! What a disaster, the chemistry isn't there, they don't click, and we only get a 56. Oh no! Kira Lee is the new Coastal Zone and by proxy, the new Coastal Zone Extreme and by proxy Florida Zone champion. But the segment tanked because of the lack of chemistry. It's a little bit too short as well, but oh, that is such a disappointing end to American Flash's reign as the Coastal Zone champion. Coastal Zone Extreme champion, sorry, but we've got the title finally on Kira Lee, but oh dear. That is disappointing. A 56 rating for that one. A flying knee strike did the business in just under 18 minutes for a new champion inside a cage match, and hopefully the next match doesn't do the same. it doesn't. They've got great chemistry. It showed in their performance. Hot new move for Frankie Boy Fernandez, a 79 rating overall. And everything was designed to be an absolute epic in this one. And I think it paid off. Defense number 17, because Frankie Boy Fernandez got the pinfall victory in 34 minutes. Superb wrestling. Great heat. A great back and forth. But this rivalry, I believe, should be done now. Frankie Boy Fernandez once again getting the upper hand. I think that makes it 3-1 in their series. But either way, Carlos Barrera, still the COT World Champion, even though we've not featured that one for a while. But Frankie gets the victory. Creative finish was a success as well, I need to mention that. 79 rating, puts in a 73 overall, and that only increases our popularity in 10 regions. I think the East Coast experiment has messed with our popularity gains, so that's not very good. But a wonderful way to close the year. A 79 rating match for the title. American Flash, I'm surprised that Catherine Goodluck got the better match out of him, but obviously that lack of chemistry kind of ruined things. But she's now a double champ. I guess we're going to have to vacate the Florida Zone Championship. We'll not do that. Financial report, we've made $141,000 all basically on ticket sales. The revenue for the broadcast and merchandise is covered off the show costs and the worker costs and the marketing and all that. But a massive, massive profit, which is good, so that's good to see. Popularity-wise, for some reason, I'm not sure why we're only just going up in these areas and not these ones which are much lower down, but whatever. No, 56 to end the year in the Southwest. We're so close to getting up to medium, so that's a positive as well. We'll do a final recap for the year now, and as I said, we're probably going to have a little bit of a hiatus before we get into 2023, have a bit of a refresh of what we're planning to do here in the Coastal Zone for next year. Obviously, we've still got the same champion as what we started the year out at, but that's okay. Coco Malloy getting better with time. Frankie Boy Fernandez likes her. They had a match in Florida, which we might run back again at some point. 85,000 viewers for Christmas Cage Chaos. That was good. Let's have a quick State of the Zone recap here. So the Coastal Zone champion still Frankie Boy Fernandez. He's now 371 days. He's going to go further than that because we've not got another defense until January now. So that's really good. 17 successful defenses. Coastal Zone tag team champions are still Tandem Offense, Huda Ask and Zell Quinn. They've been champions for 133 days now. 4 successful defenses. Then we have the Extreme title, which is now held by Kira Lee. 1 day into this reign. Obviously, no successful defenses just yet, but a 216-day reign for American Flash was ended. He went from May to December, so well done to him for bringing this title up along with him. The Florida Zone Championship now needs to retire, so we're on 4 champions in a month. We'll retire that one. What a failed experiment there. Never mind, but thank you, Kira Lee, for your 1-day reign. American Flash didn't even get a full day. Reach for the Sky contract is now vacant. We'll give that one again in September next year. She held it for 90 days before cashing in. 1 defense of the contract, and obviously Riptide Rumble. We'll see again in April. Carlos Barrera winning the 2022 variant. Let's have a quick look at the top 100s for the year. Top event of the year was Showdown at Sundown. This last one, the Christmas Cage Chaos, comes in at number 5. Obviously, the back end of the year getting the big ratings. Matches, they're all basically Frankie Boy Fernandez, but that one there, back at Coral Clash when Carlos Barrera got his 1 victory, got an 83. I mean, the one in a cage match is only number 5, and that was a 79, so we've got plenty of really good matches. Mass Cougar getting the 83 at Showdown at Sundown as well against Frankie, and then involved in the 3-way at Carnage at the Coast to get our 3rd highest rated match of the year. Attendance-wise, it's been back end of the year once again, nearly 8,000 for a Christmas Cage Chaos. You can see that was really, really strong. No pay-per-views, no time rates. Viewership, however, we got 85,000 now. We're ticking up to for our main events on WrestleWorld. There's that. Anything else to quickly look at? The size, we are close. Need 59 to get to medium in the Southwest, so we're getting there. Hopefully now we're not going to do silly things like go and do 3 or 4 Florida shows a month. We can get back to improving this as we go through. But there we are. That's the situation. That's the Coastal Zone for 2022. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've enjoyed watching along. and we'll see you on the next episode as we get into 2023 and we go back around the loop to Revolution once again. Please like this video, subscribe here on Spike Piledriver. My name's Anders. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.